There. Today we're going to talk about this question that we've been getting a lot at SpeechKids, which is, when are you going back in person? And isn't in-person speech therapy better than teletherapy or virtual therapy? And here's the answer. Nope. And no one is more surprised than I am. When the pandemic started, obviously, SpeechKids was a completely in-person, travel-based, itinerant practice. We went to clients' homes and schools. We dealt with kids in person, and it was really fun. And then COVID came, and we had to pivot like everybody else. Okay, so we went online, and what happened? Well, here's the thing. In the past year and a half, we've been innovating. We've been coming up with things that work. And one of the things that we are doing here at SpeechKids is this microdosing, which doesn't involve substances. These short, daily or multiple times a week speech therapy sessions. And so I'll describe one, and then we can sort of talk about it. This is basically 10 or 15 minutes every day, or 4 times a week, sometimes 3, usually 4 or 5, where the therapist is on screen, your kiddo is sitting in a chair, and so if you are 2 years old, that means you're in your high chair, and you can see the screen. If you're 14 years old, and we've been doing these types of sessions with kids from 2 to 14. If you're 14, you're sitting at your desk and having a conversation with an on-screen person. But here's what happens in a 10-minute session. Okay, we hit it hard. We go hard. We get a lot of repetitions. We work on skills in a very targeted way, and we do not have to take any breaks because it's only 10 minutes. And so a couple of different things have been happening when kids are in these 10-minute sessions. They know it's very short, and so they're willing to put out the effort and the energy in a way that they're not when the session is longer. Okay, so that's the first thing that happens. And from a neurobiological perspective, that no zone of motivation where you're a little bit amped up but not too amped up is optimal for learning, right? We have to be like a little bit excited but not too excited. And so delineating a time frame that's very short helps keep kids in that zone of motivation, which is exactly where they need to be in order to learn. Okay, that's one thing. Because of the repetition every day, guess what? Kids are learning skills, more skills, faster. And this is like the beauty of it. And in fact, the research would bear this out, which is that short, frequent doses of therapy are better than longer, less frequent doses of therapy. Okay, so now you're asking me, well, why were you doing it that way to begin with before? Travel time. And that's how we always did it. So, and part of it is that's how we always did it because we never had technology before, right? And so we had to meet in person. And yes, this kind of work is interpersonal. And so is it optimal to be in person? Maybe. But I think the benefits outweigh that need for the interpersonal, particularly, hopefully, if kiddos are getting that in the real world from their parents and their friends. Okay. So what happens when we are able to do this on the screen? Well, number one, you minimize transition time. So you're not having to haul your kid out of the house and back into the house and drive around town or have the therapist do the same on their end. And the session actually takes as long as the session takes. So if we're doing a 15-minute session, guess what? Within 17 minutes, you're done. You're in and out, and you can go on with your day. And so there are some real advantages, some like practical, functional advantages to doing these short daily bursts that are, in fact, in line with the research, which is kind of fun when daily reality matches with, artificial research conditions. And not all research is artificial, but some of those situations really are. They haven't been practicable in the past. And now we're kind of at this stage where where it is. So for young kids, a session looks a little bit different than for older kids, but the principles are the same. We're in, we work hard, and we're done. And that time frame allows us to be much more direct. We don't take any breaks, for example, right? It allows for knowledge to sink in faster and for us to make faster progress in therapy, which is really what we all want, right? I'm always telling my clients, it's my job to put myself out of a job. And if I'm not trying to do that, then I'm not doing it very well. So I just want you to consider, when you're asking, isn't in-person automatically better? It's not automatically better. There are some things happening online in the virtual speech therapy world that are really effective and really, really beneficial. Until next time, take care.